New to Cutco or you've been around for a little while, being able to understand and explain the difference between all the sets, but especially the big ones like the Homemaker, the Signature, and the Ultimate, being able to explain those differences is critically important, and just being able to quickly get across what the point is and which set the customer should feel more comfortable with, or maybe just which one they should go with. In the store, we have really split seconds to make an impression, to make an impact directionally in their thinking as to which direction should they really be going. And what I want you guys in the future to always kind of think of yourself as is, you're an associate, you're a salesperson just like in Best Buy or in any other retailer where people are coming to you and they're asking for advice. However, the dynamic doesn't always feel that way because you might be a 20-something-year-old talking to a 50-something who, if you try to tell them how to cook and how to use knives that you don't necessarily cook yourself, you may not necessarily have that confidence, or they may even kind of give you the sideways look like, do you know what you're talking about? So step one is having a little bit of that confidence and that experience yourself. And then whether you do or you don't, at least being able to understand and explain what separates one set from the other can get your foundation started. So again, whether you're new or you're a veteran in this business, the Homemaker set, the way you want to think about it is the Homemaker set is our most popular set. Corporately, every year, the president of Vector Marketing at year-end banquets goes through and talks about how many sets we sold nationally, and every single year, the most popular set in terms of volume, sales dollars, everything, it's the Homemaker set. So you can say that with a lot of confidence that the Homemaker set is our most popular set, and it's a set we've had for now over 70 years. So that's usually your starting point. It's the middle set, it's the most popular set. Pretty much everybody has the Homemaker set. It's kind of weird, and you definitely have holes if you're below the Homemaker set. And one tip is in your store, what you should do is have where all your individual knives are, have the Homemaker pieces all next to each other so that you can physically and visually go like this and show all the knives in this set are right here. This is what comes in the Homemaker set. It's also helpful for when you do upgrades or with people that already have some pieces that you can go to and say, well, this is what comes in the Homemaker. You already own these two, so this is what you're missing. So that's really step one. That's where I'd start, is having the understanding of the Homemaker set and the confidence that this is what everyone gets, ends up with, should have, etc. Secondly is, well, what are they missing from the next step up, being the Signature? And that is the cheese knife, the Hardy slicer, the Petite Santoku, the Super shears, and then 2 additional table knives. Then they also have the option of doing steak knives that fit in that block as well. That's what gets added to the Homemaker set. The Signature is our most popular upgrade. It really was created because the jump from Homemaker to Ultimate is quite large, and it just gave us that perfect in-between option by taking the most popular set and adding the most popular individually sold pieces and making our Signature set. It's not our biggest set, but it's certainly one of the most popular that we upgrade people to. Part of that reason is because if you look at the pricing structure, because we do a 50% off block trade-in deal year-round, the Signature block is twice as much as the Homemaker block. So it's also really convenient that they essentially get their full money back by trading in their old Homemaker block. Could be any block, could be a studio block, but they get 50% off the price of the new block. So upgrading the Signature is always really easy because, again, most people already have the Homemaker, and so by upgrading the Signature, they get all their money back for what they originally bought. Lastly, the Ultimate set, what it adds to the Signature set, and again, they have the option of table knives or steak knives, is they add another 2. So that has a total of 12. So if you go from Homemaker to Ultimate, you're actually adding 4. And then it adds 6 pieces to the signature, and that is the cleaver, the boning knife, the salmon knife, the petite slicer, the 4-inch paring knife, and the vegetable knife. So it adds those 6. And looking at it again from the display boards, the only difference is, at least currently, how we have the signature set and the ultimate set. There's this line that sort of separates the two. The one difference is when you buy the signature set, the Santoku that comes in is the 5-inch. When you buy the ultimate, it's actually the 7-inch instead of the 5-inch. It doesn't necessarily have both. So just so you kind of have that reference. The ultimate set is the set you really want to build up as the complete set. This is the set for people who love to cook. Signature is for people who like to cook. Homemaker is for people who have to cook. Again, Homemaker is the most popular, it's the most common. It's the minimum number of tools to do 100% of the jobs. Ultimate has all those same tools, just adds a couple of the most popular customer favorites and supplements some of the things they use a lot, like utility knives and chopping knives. The ultimate set is the complete set. That's the set for people who cook all the time, they love to cook. It, again, has tools you're not necessarily going to use every day, but it's going to have the tools you'll need at some point, and have all the tools you'll ever need. You think of things, again, like the cleaver, those pieces, those last pieces that get added. You don't probably use them all the time like a cleaver, but certainly when you have it, not only can you find a reason to use it, but when you eventually come across a reason to need a cleaver, you'll be happy you have it. With any of these additional pieces, one thing is, I like using a spare tire as my example or my analogy. Everyone owns a spare tire, and even after you use a spare tire, you always buy another one. And the reason is because you don't use it very often, but when you need it, you're happy you have it. And it's the same thing. You can also make golf club analogies, all kinds of analogies, but I like to use the analogy of something that people spend money on, they don't actually use very often, but when they need it, they're happy they have it, and they're happy they spent the money on it. And that's a lot of those extra pieces. When it really comes to selling the bigger sets, what you want to do is what I call spot selling, which is you're not going to necessarily take the time, because you don't have it, you're not going to take the time with every piece, but you're going to take the time with the most popular pieces. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on, well, here's your 9-inch carver, and here's why you need that, and this, that, and the other. I'm going to spend time on the pieces they're going to use a lot, like the chopping knives, the utility knives, the paring knives, the popular pieces, or the specialty piece like the cheese knife and the hearty slicer and the shears. Those are those big ones to hit on, because especially they're still kind of juggling between whether or not they want to go with a smaller set or customize a set. You're selling them on the fact that these are the pieces they want. So now when you show, well, here's what comes in the entire set, and they see the piece they want in the bigger sets, you're a lot more likely to get them to a bigger set than you would have initially. Now, not to completely gleam over the fact we do have smaller sets like the galley set and like the starter sets. That's really what they are. They're starter sets. Those are for people that they maybe have like a mobile home, or they live in an apartment, or they're gift sets to give for kids that are just starting out on their own and don't even own any knives. Again, just on the go. Galley sets, they're okay, but they're missing the carving set and the prep knife. And a lot of times, people are going to buy more knives. And so at a minimum, I usually try to sell, if someone's going to go with the galley set, I try to sell them on getting the Homemaker block, because it's only like $4 more anyway. And the reality is, by the time we get to the cash wrap, they're seeing those empty holes, and they're like, I might as well just get those other couple pieces anyway. And they do. It is a popular wedding gift, for like the aunt or the grandma or somebody to give. But again, the Homemaker set is the most popular set. Signature set is our most popular upgrade and is our signature piece. And then the Ultimate is your most complete set. It has everything you'd ever need. And that's really the reference point that you want to get across to your customers. And then again, go back to spot selling. Just highlight the best, most popular pieces in those to really tie them into those pieces, which will then ultimately tie them into the set. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys. Any questions, we're here to help.